Oi oi! Welcome to Spirit Boost with me, Tim, and Coco the dog. This week we are looking at how do I fulfill the massive calling that God has on my life. I've heard quite a lot of people say, God's got a massive calling on my life. And what they mean by that is they want to get on a huge stage in front of loads of people and look really great and cool. It's good that you and me are believing for big things for God. But is that the whole story? Now, someone in the Bible who had a massive calling on his life is a guy called Paul. Jesus actually appeared to him face to face. And Jesus said to some other people about Paul, "He is my chosen instrument whom I'm going to use to share the good news to the nations." You cannot get much more of a bigger calling than that. I doubt that even you and me have a greater calling on our life. And in the Bible, in a book called Philippians, Paul starts out and says, this letter is from Paul and Timothy. I mean, what an awesome name that is to be from someone in the Bible. Timothy, good choice, mum and dad. And he says, this letter is from us guys. And what way do you think he describes them? Does he say Paul and Timothy, those powerful Christians? Does he say those anointed preachers? Does he say those sent to the nations, chosen by Jesus himself to fulfill a huge calling? Does he say those with deliverance, dynamite power? No. In fact, the total opposite is true. He starts it out and says, this letter is from Paul and Timothy, slaves of Jesus Christ. What a strange way to introduce himself, a slave. I mean, he could have said a servant. Jesus said that we are to serve, to be his servants. At least a servant you get to knock off and go home at the end of the day when you've done your work. But no, Paul says, I'm a slave. Now, don't get it twisted. Every form of slavery is horrendous. It's an abuse. It's not the way it should be. We should do everything we can to end it. But Paul says the way to describe his relationship to God as he works for him is like a slave. So in other words, he's given up every right he has to do things that he wants. He's let go of control. He's given up that driving seat of control and said, God, you are now number one. You are the one taking me where you want to take me. If you want to use me to do something incredible, or if you want to use me to do something seemingly meaningless. At this time he wrote this letter, Paul was actually in prison. He could not fulfill his massive calling of preaching the good news to thousands and thousands of people, but he trusted God was in control. He chose to embrace the situation, and actually God used him anyway to reach the whole prison with the good news of Jesus. The other Christians were encouraged that if Paul can stand up and be bold about his faith in prison, then I can be bold in my situation. So I want to encourage you, the way that you and me fulfill the massive calling on our life is quite simply to let go and to let God. Stop trying to make it happen yourself. Give God the driving seat of your life. And whether he chooses you to do something that looks spectacular or you end up not doing that, you'll be content with the fact that you're in the center of God's will and he is using you for his glory.